Hello, everyone. Well, Venus has shifted into a new nakshatra, and it's going to be transiting through Swati Nakshatra between now and the 17th of November. There are some really important things in regards to this particular transit that I want to talk to you about today. Important amongst them is the fact that over the course of this transit, Venus is going to be conjuncting Jupiter. And in terms of understanding planetary energy, and I've spoken about this in a lot of my previous videos, it's important, especially in regards to this particular transit, to understand Venus and Jupiter as the two ministers of the royal court of planets. Now, Venus is the minister in regard to material affairs, how to make life enjoyable within the kingdom. And of course, our kingdom is our own life, our own domain. Jupiter's the minister in spiritual affairs, how to make life more meaningful within the kingdom or within your domain. So as Venus and Jupiter conjunct each other, it's going to bring into the forefront of each of our lives the concept of how to live life wisely, and equally how to live an enjoyable life, and any decisions or concerns that we might have around those particular things. Okay, so we're going to talk about those concepts today. First of all, though, I do want to say, if you're interested in knowing where this will affect your own particular horoscope, I do offer a vast range of astrological services. They're available through my website. While you're there, I am doing a mini course on relationships, which starts this weekend, the 12th of November. You should see information in the video above about this, okay? And there will be a link at the end of the video as well. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Swati Nakshatra. Swati Nakshatra is connected to Vayu. Vayu is a deity that's connected to the wind, okay? So wind is important. Wind is always moving. It's always blowing. It's always changing. We think of wind as being very strong too. Wind is related to the spirit. Spirit moves in the wind. So with Swati Nakshatra, it's more about the spirit flowing through things than it is about the actual material form, right? If you know anybody who has prime Swati energy in their chart, in other words, self-related factors in Swati Nakshatra, like the Atmakaraka or the sun or the moon, you'll usually notice them as being very independent, free-spirited individuals. And given that the wind is always moving, you'll notice that these individuals, they don't like to sit still for very long, right? So it's a very restless energy, but it's equally a very creative energy. There's a particular energy that's connected with Swati Nakshatra, and it gives Swati Nakshatra the power to scatter like the wind, right? So basically, the wind is always moving, and it's always moving things too, right? So during Venus and Jupiter's transit through Swati Nakshatra, and especially with the conjunction happening around the 13th, what we're going to see is a lot of things moving in each of our lives. And what's happening is the winds of change are blowing things through and getting rid of all the stale stuff that no longer fits within our life, that's making our life unpleasant, difficult to enjoy, that's not in alignment with our spiritual path, getting rid of those things that no longer create that movement, and bringing forward through a surge of creative energy those things that are more important in our life, right? So whatever leaves your life at this particular point, it's something that it was time for it to kind of move through anyway. And whatever is blowing into your life at this point, that's something you're going to find yourself building a foundation of, especially over the course of the next several weeks until about the 6th of December, when you'll likely find yourself in a position where you're reviewing the decisions that you're making about this time between now and the 13th. Now, each nakshatra has something that's called a basis above, a basis below, and a result of the union of those two things. I like to explain to my students that the basis above is kind of like what the heavens give, and the basis below is how we respond to what the heavens are giving, right? Or you can say the universe or God or however you want to look at it, right? So basis above is what God, universe, heavens are giving to us. Basis below is how we respond to that. And through a combination of those two things, we get a result. So the basis above is moving in various directions. So the universe gives us a situation in association with Venus and Jupiter. It gives us a situation that moves us in various directions, right? We're going, okay, well, I'm kind of falling back on my heels in regard to the old way, but really I'm not feeling quite so happy with that. I'm feeling restless and I'm wanting to kind of go in a different direction. That's the energy of moving in various directions, right? And in regards to that energy blowing into our lives and how we're responding, we change form. We go through all these transformations. We begin to feel like, well, this is more important in my life now. And no, now this is more important in my life. And we begin to go through a change or a discarding of things. And when that is finally finished, then comes the result, which is transformation, right? So Venus and Jupiter, they're bringing that transformation. We all want to live a life that is more enjoyable, right? A life where we feel like we're making wise decisions that make us feel happy, that we're making wise decisions that are alignment with our values of how to enjoy our life in general, right? And we equally like to have a life that is filled with meaning, that's rewarding, that makes us feel like we're expanding and growing. Each of those things is a function of both Venus and Jupiter, respectively. Now, basically, Swati Nakshatra is an Artha-driven nakshatra. That means it has a goal in mind. It wants to achieve something. And so there's a shift that you're wishing to make in life, okay? And you have a particular desire in mind that you're moving towards, and you're putting action towards moving towards that goal. But you're wanting to act more wisely, right, than you have in the past. You're wanting to change things and shift things in alignment with those things we were just talking about, how you feel your life should be enjoyable and how to make your life more meaningful, right? Well, over the course of, maybe the next, like 10 days, you're going to be going through a very intensive period in relation to this. Is it going to be difficult? It's going to be more beneficial than it is difficult. But, life has its challenges dependent upon where planets are placed in our chart, right? And basically how strong a planet is when it's transiting a particular section of our chart. And there are so many things to take into consideration. That's why I always suggest to people, if you really would like a little more insight on that, to schedule a consultation. So that's the general energy of this particular transit. A lot of things are changing, but again, those things that are leaving your life, it's time for them to leave your life, and it's time to let some fresh air blow in some change for you. That's a good sign. It may be difficult to let some things go, but it's a good sign that new changes are blowing in. That's going to do it for this short video on Venus's transit through Swati Nakshatra that's taking place between now and the 17th of November. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.